Hi everyone. We did it. We made it. Another drawing health session, and for this one, there is the group of us in the room here today, and there's also whoever might be watching this as a recording later, because the purpose of this one is a sample to bring people in who might want to, get an understanding of what we do here, a feeling of how the class is actually experienced with different people in the room, and having a recording makes it possible for folks to do that when they can't come to class live. So that's why we're here. You guys are so generous to offer recordings of yourselves for this purpose. And yeah, we've already had a little hello and check in, but I haven't given you yet what our theme is going to be for today. I have been experiencing a lot of hand pain, which is my least favorite thing. Stops me from feeling comfortable while drawing, and of course I'm using the computer. It's like very much a repetitive strain injury, very much part of the journey I'm on with my body on the whole, is not just to isolate the hand, but to look at all of me and how all of the things I'm being and feeling and doing and performing are contributing to this sensation of pain. I'm going to clear my throat again. It was fine while we weren't recording, and suddenly, of course. So, I'd like to ask you guys, I'd like to ask you for the theme's purposes. Like, is there anywhere in your body that you have a persistent pain and something that comes up, especially with activity and perhaps an activity that you really like? Yeah, you can jump in and talk as usual. We're just going to chat for a bit.
Well, I have so many to share. I'll just share one.
Yeah, pick one
I
for
have,
now.
yeah, yeah. I have a lot of pain when I sit, like literally
Mm.
sitting down. So I'm really limited at the time. Well, I have been um, the time that I could work. But oh, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry.
You're all good.
Um, I just got a Discord notification from you that lagged a little bit, so it's okay.
Not helpful now. Okay.
Great. So, no worries. Yeah, so I have a lot of sacroiliac pain, like which is at the very base of your spine, and so um, it used to be really limiting, but I have um, got a whole bunch of systems now to draw sitting, draw standing, draw laying down, um, and so now I get to join you in the hand pain department because
Mm.
I'm working so much more, which is great, but I need to listen to that part now too. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, those are big parts, both that are very deeply involved in drawing
Yeah.
and other things.
Right.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Jen.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have a pain that they wouldn't mind acknowledging, I guess? You can do it privately, but yeah, it's okay if you're just like sitting in it, thinking about it. I think we all have pain. It's kind of, I barely really have to ask the question. I know. So, particularly with writing, drawing, using a computer mouse, and now also using our thumbs so much with tablets and stuff and our touch phones, I want to get into basically exploring through the hands at first, because we're going to use our hands for drawing and particularly drawing health. Like, this is what we're coming together around. The kinds of shapes we make with our hands are going to be clunky at first as we're learning how to move the pen, learning how we want to make lines and shapes. And then they get more natural, but also more unconscious. And maybe natural and unconscious are overlapped. I'm not going to say they're the same, they're not exactly the same, but there's some overlap there. we would call something natural if we like don't really have to think about it. It just kind of happens, or the way we do it comes to us without a lot of preparation and planning and thought. And when we're learning something new, we're learning how to make that action or employ that skill with less of that effort so that we can actually just feel it's a natural part of our bodies now, or it's a natural part of our thought or our day. So I want to bring a little more conscious back. And for me, I'm bringing it to this area of pain. I am not going to ask you to do that. I'm actually going to ask you to stay with me in the hands, because we will have some space to bring these sensory experiences, these explorations, let's say, to wherever we want. And it doesn't even have to be that you apply it to the source of your pain. Because as with everything that we do here, we're going to actually start looking for what feels good and comfortable first. So if there's anything you need right now, just to like settle in, to feel present, be here, it might be like just sitting back in your chair a little bit. I'm going to do that in mine. And I'm going to close my eyes for a moment. Normally there's a bit more chat before the point when I close my eyes, but actually today we're not going to be diving in deep for as long in one big chunk, but kind of diving in and then coming back out into our internal world, into this felt place that's more private, and then coming back out and trying things, kind of stimulating new experiences. But I want to just check in with myself first, so yeah, just a moment. Sometimes it's just the length of a single breath cycle, and I feel just a bit more aware of how I am. And yeah, if you're like me, when you pay attention to your body, you might have the pain really bloom, really like show up in a big way. It's asking for your attention. And in this case, we're going to say just, okay, I hear you, or yep, I'm right here with you, as a way to acknowledge that part, whatever part of your body or your heart or your mind is like, I need you. We're going to say, yeah, I'm here with you, and I'll be right there. First, though, we're going to do a little exploring in the hands, because we do use them all the time. They deserve acknowledgement. They deserve a little time, a little care. So I'm going to introduce the idea of just sort of stroking your hands lightly. And everything I'm offering now is an invitation. Do what you want, leave what you don't. You can just think about it. But if you're stroking your hands lightly, or if you're imagining doing that, the only guide is what feels good for my hands. Could even be different left and right. Do I want little tracing touches? Do I want to maybe squeeze them together, interlocking fingers, some kind of crinkly, twisty thing? But touch between them is going to bring a real concentration, a real awareness to these places. And maybe you'll even find like parts of your hand that you barely ever think about. It's always these finger joints, like the webbing between the fingers. I was going to call them finger crotches. Why didn't I? It's way funnier. I always think about touching the finger crotches because they're very sensitive and it feels good. And I never do it. Like, not on purpose and not by accident, really. It's very rare that something is resting that deep in the space between my fingers in my regular activities of the day. So I'm just trying to find something new. And yeah, you can like bend those fingers if you want, do a little manipulation. It could be pressure touch, like a massage. Because you're just kind of, yeah, exploring with feeling. Now, for another exploration, I'm going to offer that you hold your hand, whichever hand you use to draw, hold it pretending that there's a pencil in it, or pretending that there's a pen. And just notice it, look at it. In fact, if you're looking at your hand when you try to make that shape, note how it goes, note what the hand is doing, and then maybe look away, like completely make it impossible for you to see your own hand, and just imagine and pretend that you're grabbing a pen. And then look at it again and see, is it any different when I'm not guiding it, when I'm not assessing the posture of my hand? And it's imagined too, so it's not something we usually do. But with this imaginary pen in your hand, squeeze the pen. However you want, like squeeze it, press it in, start closing your hand around the pen. And this is maybe the point when the pen just needs to go away so that you can explore the squeezing without, your mind grappling with how that would physically work. But start just squeezing the fingers in, squeezing them as close together as you can. And do notice, like, if there's any pain here, you can back off from whatever's hurting. But come into what I would call tension. And if you want, you can even close all the way to be in like a fist. You can squeeze with your thumb inside the fist, or you can bring your thumb outside. Just try different fist formations here. Is the fist comfortable? Are you noticing muscles wake up? Are you noticing tiredness? In fact, I am. I'm starting to feel tiredness and not quite pain, but like something that feels like it would lead to pain. So I'm actually opening and closing my fist to sort of pulse it and just have that experience with a little bit of relief. So now that we've really connected to that feeling in the hand, especially the feeling of tension, of closing, of tightness, how would you draw that feeling? Draw the feeling of the inside of your hand. Let's just take a minute. Maybe you have something to draw with before you, or maybe you need to get something. How would you translate the inner experience of this fist you created? How would you translate any of the sensations in muscles or joints that called out to you? Maybe when you closed your hand, you felt a joint complain. Maybe there's more tension in one place than another. Is it warm now? We're just trying to translate some sensation from the hand, the very hand that we draw with, while drawing it. It's a little circle of experience here. So I'm just going to be quiet for 2 or 3 minutes. I'll just say, as a guide while you're drawing this internal experience of your hand right now, notice if there's any resistance you feel to capturing, to focusing on, to drawing any of the sensations. Like maybe it's hard for you to draw the pain, or maybe it's hard for you to draw where it felt really good. Like maybe you don't have a visual language for it, or it doesn't feel valuable. But what we're doing here is honoring the inner experience of our hand. And as you draw, you could think about that, honoring your hand's experience. Now you might want to capture a specific texture or color to represent a sensation. It might also be that you're trying to draw different positions that your fingers get into, or maybe you want to draw the sensation that only comes when you have that tight fist, or the relief from that tension when you start to open your hand again. You can play here, and also you might just want to do something that I truly find really challenging, to draw the hand as you're feeling it in the position it is while you're drawing. So you can kind of look at the hand to get a reference for where the fingers are and how your hand is moving, but you can also tap into that internal sensation. And it's just this constant feedback loop. You're looking at your hand, you're looking at what the hand's drawing. You're drawing what the hand's feeling. It's it's a bit much for my brain, but that's kind of why I want to try. That's why I like trying. Oh. Definitely notice if there's anything that surprises you. Anything at all. Sensation, image, the way your hand is moving right now. Maybe an image on the page, or maybe one that pops into your head. And I'm going to offer another place to go from here. Obviously, take your time with, continuing to feel your hand and draw the feeling and look at your hand, and you can keep playing here. I just also wanted to tap into the concept of pattern or object, or pattern and object, because this is one of my favorite things, and the hand creates a beautiful example of this. So your hand is the object, and I'm putting it in quotations. I'm not trying to, like, I don't know, turn it into some sort of disembodied thing or, non-spiritual thing. I'm just saying, in a theoretical sense, we're discussing the hand as an object because the hand is always a hand, whether it's drawing or cleaning dishes or making a fist like we did. This is still a hand. So when we make a fist, we're making a pattern. It has its own name, fist, but every fist is a hand. The hand is the object. The pattern of closing the fingers, curling them up, and even holding them together, or simply making the shape softly, the hand makes the pattern of a fist. And now the fist is something we can identify. So, with that, which I find fascinating, and I'm endlessly looking for other examples of where there is a pattern that we talk about as if it's its own object, or how I could express not what the object is perfectly the way I see it, but how could I express the pattern without focusing on being super precise about the object. So you're making faces, which I really like. I was curious if you had something come up. Thoughts, questions? Do you want to poke holes? All is welcome. Jen just made a mind-blown gesture. You could just be thinking. Yeah, that's cool. Feeling, thinking. So here's why I love this, though, in the context of health. And we are going to go, back to the internal with this idea. So what we were just doing, and I did say we're going to go back into the internal, and then I just kept talking. But the way that I bring myself back in is I just close my eyes. So you're very much invited. Maybe you want to sit with this idea of object and pattern for a second. Let's, let it happen. Just sitting here, breathing, or you could be moving. You could be like shaking out your energy about it. And actually, as you drop in, whatever way you want to, paying attention to how you're feeling, paying attention to your body, maybe like where your weight is, where temperature is, the parts that feel comfortable, the parts that complain. I'm still going to encourage you to tend them in whatever way you need to change things to respond to those complaints and actually find more comfort. Because when we're feeling okay, when we're feeling comfortable, or even when we're enjoying our bodies, our existence, it is easier to get curious about it. And we were curious about our hand earlier. We were making fists, moving in and out of that shape, maybe experimenting with tension and position. We were also exploring touch and really just focusing on the sensation there, even though we were both the one touching and the one being touched. And the hand is a pretty easy segment of the body to explore and to talk about. It's out there. People are seeing our hands all the time. They're not a secret. They're very useful. They're very busy. They're very engaged. I mean, to be engaged, we often say, is to be hands-on. And so patterns in the hand, I mean, we're using our hands in so many different patterns all the time. But elsewhere in the body, especially in much bigger segments, like the torso, like the hips, they don't get quite as much variety. I mean, they have less joints, first of all, unless you're talking about the spine, because the torso's main, well, what? Yeah, sorry. What am I even saying? The torso has all the joints, not less joints. But I would say maybe more specific mobility. Like each joint has its small, typical moves. And the pattern that these larger parts of us is most often inhabiting is probably the one that feels most natural, the one we don't think about. It might even feel like comfort. You might be in one of your patterns right now, resting into the comfort that is the familiarity, the muscles not having to work too hard, you not having to think about it. I'm just breathing with it for a minute because I needed to stop talking and start listening to my own body. And if you can, just with this open perception, hopefully the curiosity, if you've found some of that, you can start to try to sense the object and the pattern separately. Can I sense the shape that my torso is? Or maybe the feeling that my torso is? And also notice, is it in a pattern, like the pattern of a curve? And I'm thinking about my spine when I say curve, like if my spine was sort of a big C. Looking at it, you might not see it in that dramatic a shape, like a proper C would be me probably, hunched over my legs or curled up into a ball. A ball would be a pattern. But if I just bring the idea of a C even just into my mind right now, I can actually feel into that as well and feel where my body might be aligned in that pattern and where it might be separating, differing from it. And I'm not going to define my body by that pattern. I'm not going to define everything I'm feeling by that pattern. My body is an object of its own shape that embodies, that inhabits different patterns. So when you draw, which I'm going to invite you to do again, just sort of opening your mind to any of your body. It could be another segment, it could be another specific part. I'm going to say try not to focus on the source of most pain or most tension. That will make itself known even when you give your attention to where in your body might be feeling comfortable, or just the whole thing. You could just feel into as much as you can, or imagine, if that's easier, the shape that your whole body is in right now, and just start to ask, like, where is the pattern here, and how would I translate that in a drawing, even if I don't draw the object? What if I just draw the pattern, and maybe how the pattern feels? Could be all the different qualities we talk about, like, is there a temperature to the pattern? Is there density or spaciousness? Is the pattern one that has a movement to it? Because we move in patterns too. You could even do that if you wanted to feel into a new pattern in this moment, a little curiosity. You could rock back and forth. Say, like I'm doing right now, just rocking your torso forward and backward and forward and backward, you start to notice, okay, if I was not going to draw my body doing this, how would I draw the pattern by itself? And at any moment you feel like it, dive in. Ease yourself out of the feeling, the internal experience as much as you want, because I also find it really interesting to try and stay really internal and still connect with the outside world through my eyes, through my drawing. Trying to hold them both at once is really cool for my internal experience, and sometimes produces drawings I wasn't expecting. So I'm just going to be quiet for a bit now. Let's say at least 5 minutes. I'm really going to try to not talk for 5 minutes. Normally I would play music, but because we're distributing this, we can't do that. So it's going to be quietness in this shared Zoom space. But you can play music on your own if you need that, if you want something to vibe with. And in about 5, maybe a little longer, we'll come back and I'd love to hear about your experience. Whatever you felt or thought or drew. But I'll be muted now so you have that space to explore yourself. Has it been 5 minutes? We'll never know. Yeah. Very, it's very interesting to me. I love talking about this stuff. And also, it feels like such an infinite concept, an infinite practice, an infinite experience. So if you're up for it, I would love to hear what your experience was going through both of those short practices, in the body and then drawing and back in the body. Yeah, tell me about it if you like.
So can I go?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So I was the hand thing that we did, closing it in the fist, and I felt so many things, but I was not able to, draw it. But it just felt that it's just how I am generally, when I close everything, everything just goes inside, and I'm never able to let go. And it's just that I
Wow.
just keep going inside. It's like a vortex. I got that feeling. It's like, inside a well or a cave, or is it just it felt good, but I didn't want to be in that space for long. So I just drew a vortex kind of thing. So and but the thing that was very interesting to me was when you said that try to look at your hand and draw it as it is while you're drawing, draw your hand. So I was doing that, and I keep observing people and the way they write and draw, and I see some people hold their hand and the pencil is like this, and they write like this. Many people.
Wow.
I used to wonder how they do that and how that works. I used to keep looking at that. So I was trying to do that with my hand and drawing it as well. And I was not able to draw properly, obviously, because that's not how I'm used to. I hold it like this, very loose.
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
just holding it like this and trying to draw it while I was like, but the people who do that, they seem to be perfect. They seem to be at ease doing that. So it's just the kind of, the habit or the patterns that we fall into and doing things. It used to, yeah. So that's what I was doing, just drawing the hand and trying to do it in different ways. And I have to tell you, Georgia, that usually I am not able to sit for long. I start pacing. I cannot sit and draw. I don't know. I just can't do it. So, but your voice and was like, it kept me grounded. So I just kept on drawing. So it was good. Because
Oh,
actually, when you stopped
that's
talking, I was like,
beautiful.
oh God, I need to get up now. I was
I
like,
was
oh,
trying to give
five
you
minutes. Do I
space,
have
and
to
you were like,
sit? I
nope.
was like, okay, let me just. That was funny. Yeah. So that's my observation.
That is, yeah, it's beautiful, Rachna. Thank you so much for that feedback and, sharing with us. Holding the pen like this just seems, I mean, that blew my mind, like that anyone does that. But if it works for them, who am I to say? Yeah. Megan, yeah, go ahead.
Um, so I haven't been like kind of sitting and drawing much these days. I'm trying to get back into it. So there's definitely like this period of like real restlessness that I recognize in myself when I haven't been sitting with and drawing with myself. So there's always that like, oh right, a reminder. So yes, but so sinking in is that this, you know, having to be intentional about it to get there. And but what I thought was really interesting with the fist thing was, so I drew what I was really envisioning was like the inside space. So it's interesting that she was just talking about that too a little bit. Maybe not this in the same way, but I really envisioned this space inside in the shape of like kind of a kidney heart kind of thing.
Wow.
And like I wasn't thinking vortex, I was thinking about it like a portal, but like how and then kind of like a plant, like a solar system or something started to emerge from that.
Wow.
And just thinking about how like darkness and small spaces, like this kind of like idea of like enclosure or a containment is well, like a place of growth. I guess I think about those spaces a lot, like kind of like a seed going into the ground, you know, where there's like this tight contained space, but also that it, anyways, in my mind it just turned into like a reflection of like these bigger spaces, like a solar system when there's
Wow.
anyway.
You got cosmic.
I don't know if I
Yeah.
articulated that very well, but
It's great.
I I do often really like small spaces, I guess, and don't don't always find them scary, but sometimes. But and then so when I was drawing like spines, I was kind of like drawing the shape, like picturing, you know, kind of the end part like a C, but also maybe a bit of an S, and then
Yeah, like it is.
drawing them, and it started to look like a little bit of a row of sausages, and then
I
I
love
brought in
that.
some ribs and
Oh my
things like
gosh.
that. But then, like when I started drawing a heart,
Wow.
like kind of nestled inside the spine, I was like, oh, it kind of looks like that space that I drew inside my hand.
Whoa.
So I was like, oh, that's cool. There's like a anyway, just
Yeah.
about how like
Wow.
we're reflected maybe in our own bodies, in the own like the negative space, positive space of our bodies, and then the universe. That's where I went. It was fun.
Incredible.
It was
Oh
fun.
my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. I never could have predicted that you would go there or even,
How can
yeah,
we?
like,
How do you ever know where we're like where you will go? You know, that's why I love these practices because they're kind of like, whoa, I didn't actually imagine that that's
yeah,
what would come forward from, or
from
you know, that
inside
it
you.
would be like a cave or something like that. That would bring forth that. You know, it's cool how what comes forward in us.
Absolutely. Yeah. That is why this is so interesting to do as a continued practice when I'm there every week, as I'm like, as long as I've been doing it, it's always new. And different people in the room means a totally different experience. Different time in my life, totally different experience. I wanted to say to both of you and all of you actually that if you would like to like hold up what you drew, that would be delightful. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
ask that of you, but if you are like talking about your drawing and you just want to share,
I can.
I love
I
it.
also just so I mean they're little nubbly drawings. I don't even know if you can see it because of
Oh,
my shitty lighting.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
this was my where? Let me see. It's so small. That's my little
Yeah.
inside my fist space, and then there's
Wow.
my vortex planetary place. We're calling it, and then it kind of turned into this thing that was. I also was like, oh, it was kind of like this space, you
Oh,
know,
okay, yeah. Beautiful.
this space. And then I was like, oh, I could kind of picture like eyeball, like something peering through that space. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's what that
Wow.
is. And and then this is my spine doodles. My spines. There's just some lines,
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
and then my sausage spine with a heart and some hips. I don't know if you can see that at all, but there you go. There it is.
Yeah, we can. That's beautiful.
My
Wow.
sausage spine.
Yeah, I
There you
really
go.
love that. The way that like, you're describing it and you're really trying to give like meaning to it and explain it, but then when you have to show the drawing, a shorthand just came out where you were like, yeah, this is my vortex, like this is my universe, this is my sausage spine, you know?
Yeah, shorthand.
It's so fun. Yeah, that
Forever
makes
to be
it
referenced. So there you go. Next time
exactly.
you all
You'll
know, it'd be
remember
like,
it.
sausage spine.
Yeah. Thank you.
We all know what that means now.
That's gorgeous.
I can show mine if you want.
Yeah.
I was I was thinking about how we draw from the fingers, but in the wrist, and when we crunch it all up, it has this resonance or this like echo that like goes all the way up to your head and hurts here and hurts there. Anyway, so
Yeah.
I drew.
Wow.
Let's see if I can do it. Can you see the scribble? The scribbly hand there drawing.
Yes.
It's like made all out of scribbles, and so
Hmm.
then I switched over to that like, but I kind of in. So I don't know if you can see. Like, this is supposed to be the spine here,
Yeah.
and it like gets real clumpy up here, which is like where like when you're drawing painful things or you're drawing painfully, the pain kind of creeps all the way up for me anyway.
Wow. Yeah.
And so you can see, I don't know if you can see a side view of me there,
Mm-hmm.
chubby, and little chunky lady there. And so then I started to just draw the patterns in isolation. And then here's where I tried to kind of combine them. But
Mm-hmm.
this is definitely like the lock that's in my throat, which you can kind of start to hear now.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
anyway,
Exactly when
I
you.
think it's like
Yeah. You named it, and here it is.
it's definitely somatic. I would say.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yes.
It's all of the body.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous. Yeah.
I can show my hand. That's all I draw.
Yeah.
Sure. Is this the hand with the vortex?
This is the
Yeah.
vortex.
Wow.
That's how I felt, just everything. It's like a cave or it's like going inside deep, and that's the vortex. And then I drew the hand as I normally hold it. I think that's what it looks like. And this is how they hold it, like when it's like this, and then you draw like this. So
Yeah.
I felt
The
really
fist
uncomfortable
drawing.
doing that. And yeah, so that's what I was
Amazing.
doing. But I think I didn't. I think I drifted off in the second part when you're talking about. I was just listening, but I didn't do anything. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I just drew the
Yeah. I
hands.
mean,
Yeah,
whatever you
and
do
I
is
just wrote
perfect,
down how I
even
was
if you're just
feeling.
sitting.
That's it. What did I
Oh,
write?
that's
Okay,
amazing.
some garbage. Thank you.
Yeah.
I had kind of unconsciously defaulted to I'm just going to hide for the rest of the session because I didn't really do the session.
Yeah.
But then I was like, I can just say that I didn't do the session.
100%. You did the
Yeah,
session in
like
your own way.
yeah, like I was listening. I dipped in and out of doing things.
Mm.
It's always pleasant to hear your voice, Georgia. Yeah, I was here. I was sometimes in it. I was
Yeah.
on my phone sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's how it is sometimes.
Absolutely. Like my invitation at the beginning of like do whatever's best for you is so genuine. Like yeah, and you don't have to tell me, but it's nice that you did because it's a perfect example. And you do lead by example so often where you're like, I'm just going to do this. And it's great. It's really great.
Yeah, it feels better to say it than to, just hide in the corner.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a really strong correlation between, I mean, I wouldn't even say correlation. I would say if there is any hint or possibility of shame, the shame's going to tell you to not tell anyone, to hide it away. So every time you say that you did nothing or that you like got distracted or whatever, I'm like, you're directly banishing shame from that moment and saying,
Yeah.
I'm allowed. People can know it. It's okay. I'm going to be accepted. You are. Yeah. Shame really wants us to hide. And I'm not trying to shame for existing. God, what would be the
Yeah.
absolutely wild knot that I've just tied myself into with that phrase, but to say if shame is something you are experiencing a lot or practicing a lot, like it's part of your life in this way that, you know, sometimes takes up a lot of frickin' space. It's nice to claim some space that's like, no, shame doesn't get to have this too. Like I'm gonna, you know, decide this is not gonna be a place for shame right now. Yeah. It was deep stuff, but anyway. You doing nothing today. Deep work. Very anti-perfectionist. I love it. Oh, yeah, this was so
Like why I
nice.
had to show up 2 minutes late to practice
2 whole minutes,
being late.
Jen.
I was ready at 9:56. I was like, I'm ready to go. And I actually logged in at 9:58 and I was like, nope, that's not right, Jen. You got to chill. And
What?
so I had to chill.
You're down to the minute. Yeah.
I know.
I do not
I
exist in that
have,
life.
yeah, I grew up in a really rigid way. And so
Okay.
it's my practice to let rigidity loose.
Even those, yeah, 2
2
minutes.
minutes.
2 minutes before, 2 minutes after, you got it. That's deep work. Oh my gosh, yeah. And this has been amazing. I mean, just for some of you having not been here for a while, it's lovely to reconnect, and it's lovely again to have like some of the thoughts that drift through my head become an experience we're sharing. Like, yeah, wonderful every single time. So thank you so much for being here. And yeah, I guess we'll leave it there, but I'll also say, of course, you all know how to reach me and that these classes are happening every Saturday, so come back whenever you want. The podcast is coming soon, which is a very exciting thing. Yeah. Yeah, so I hope that whatever you're doing for the rest of your day, this was good. This supported you to get there, even if it's nothing.
Thank you, Georgia.
Thank you, Georgia.
Thank you
So
so
much.
much.
Thanks for being here. Woo, we did it. Okay, I'm gonna
Bye, everyone.